heavy, you know? So I was a first-time mum, and Lily was my first child, you know, and you don't expect that you are going to have a child that's going to need so much. And she was perfect when she was born, and when she was 5 weeks old, she started having a few of these little episodes that at the time...
Heartbreaking having to see Lily and learn about how frequent these seizures are, um, and how much it impacts her entire life. And she's so young, right? You can see, you don't even have to imagine, you can see the grief that these parents are going through just trying to find anything to help bring their daughter some relief. And none of the traditional um, medications were working, and they tried anything and everything under the sun, even getting the Pope to bless her and pray for her. And it just wasn't working. And I tip my hat to these parents for never giving up and for not taking no as an answer and always pushing to find another alternative, because they did. And miraculously, it worked, and it continues to work. And it just, I'm so glad that they didn't give up. And this information can help future kids and future individuals that are also suffering, and the other methods are not working for them either. So I just think this is a story of like resilience, of never giving up, of dedication and commitment to healing.
This is informative. A young girl is suffering from epilepsy. This dives into motherhood, the first time of being a mother, and realizing you're going to be carrying more responsibility than the average person. If you ever think you have it tough, take a stroll through a children's hospital, is a statement that is made in this documentary. This dives into every facet to bring ease into Lily's life due to the 7 years of failed pharma. This dives into the mother's dedication to research to find resources that may benefit Lily. They explore the use of mushrooms as a source of option. They have animals to keep watch and alert in case she has a seizure. And as they experiment and explore, they see that this change is detrimental for Lily. For the first time in years, they're seeing progress that doctors had been working towards for years. Equestrian therapies, even. It's amazing to see these unique tactics to heal the human body and these non-traditional approaches. After 6 months of this treatment, 20 of those weeks, she's been seizure-free, and that's just wow. Um, we have been moving towards a place where medicinal mushrooms is being explored, even though it's yet to be approved by the FDA. It's stories like these that change a way of life to make things a tad bit more comfortable for someone's day to day. This will outstandingly continue the conversation in the right direction.
Within this documentary, we see her struggle. We see how this affects her parents, specifically her mother, who they showed very touching clips of her taking care of her in these moments and nurturing her through these episodes. And one thing that stood out to me, it was something her father had said, was seeing children at the hospital, like a children's hospital, will give you a sense of how small your problems are. And these parents tried so many pharmaceutical methods, so many traditional methods, and none were working. And then they decided to think outside the box. And so for me, this documentary summary is telling you about medicinal items that are sort of out the box. And with this family, they're using medicinal mushrooms and service dogs. And they document the process. And you see the decrease in her epilepsy symptoms in these episodes. And we see how all these various types of therapy that are not conventional but have been very successful for Lily. And the biggest message to me at the end is that a lot of these medicinal methods, like these mushrooms, are still not approved by the FDA. And so this doc to me was a learning opportunity, but it also was a call to action for you to learn more, to kind of figure out how we can push some of these things along.
I think it was a really strong, a really deep, at the same time, following this young girl who was born with no issues apparently in the beginning, but then just after 5 weeks of life, she started to have these seizures that kept going through her life, and they were becoming more and more and more until they found out this solution, these mushrooms that can sensibly reduce the seizures, and now they're helping this little girl to live a healthy and normal life. I think this is a powerful documentary, as I said, but also very educative, because it means that even if we are in 2023 and medicine is very powerful and very developed, there are always so many things to discover. There are so many medicines, so many drugs, so many natural things like mushrooms that can be used to cure some of the worst disease, in this case epilepsy. So I think overall the whole project was at the same time strong but also educative for people out there suffering with the same problem that might actually find some help thanks to this documentary, which was very well shot with an excellent direction.
I love films like this. It just completely touches my heart, especially seeing how far a mother and father will go for their child, even doing something that's probably not exactly legal in every state. But I do, like they do, believe that everything's put on this earth for a reason. And this is clearly what medicinal mushrooms are used for. But it's because the people who abuse them, the FDA doesn't ever approve it. Whereas they should, because kids like Lily need them. Like they said, 20 weeks without a seizure. They're finding different things that work for her: horses, surf, things that work that improve her health. This documentary really does show how far parents will go and what living in fear looks like. That they're finally able to breathe a little bit, and that just brings tears to my eyes that they're finally able to let their kid be a kid without worrying that she's going to have a seizure again. While I know that fear is always going to be there, they're starting to relax a little bit. They know the dogs are there to help. Now they have something that's doing. It shows that parents know their kid better than a doctor. It's something that a lot of people don't realize, but parents know themselves better and their kids better than anyone else, including a doctor who is still a stranger, and that they will do anything for their children.
It's just astounding to see the love that these parents have for the child, you know. Yeah, I mean, the amazing thing of just all the research that they were doing and then ended up working out with alternative therapy with the mushrooms. Yeah, it was just, yeah, it really, there was just a lot of love in this movie. And so that's my biggest takeaway. Besides the fact that how happy I am that Lily's doing better. It was really hard to hear her story about how difficult it was, but it's so wonderful to see that she's seizure free and she's able to get out now and ride horses and do things. It was really really wonderful, very beautiful.
The lengths that a parent will go to for their child and to give them the best quality of life that they can, even if it means, doing months of research, and even if it means, thinking outside the box and taking a risk and coming at it from a different angle. And it's, so wonderful and such a great story, but it's also so fascinating because you also learn that in a lot of different ways that Western medicine and pharmaceuticals and everything else don't necessarily work, and sometimes you do have to go to a different approach, and you do have to go to a, you know, more natural way to heal or treat. And I like that they also extended that not just to this kind of mushroom therapy treatment, but also to her physical therapy and to, you know, how they were approaching these kind of different aspects that she's navigating and still taking a slightly, you know, different approach to it. And it probably, like they were saying, it probably helps her way more to be in those kind of environments than to be, you know, in a room, in a classroom, or, you know, in an office doing physical therapy or speech therapy or, you know, all these different things.